All right, it's time to give the job talk. But maybe it's your first time giving a job talk. Maybe you lack confidence in your ability to construct and give a high quality job talk. If so, you're going to want to watch this video because we're going to cover things like the typical format, time frames, what to expect, all of that so that you can stand out, get your dream job, and have the career that you want in higher ed. Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Leigh from teachingacademia.com, and I'm all about giving you the tools you need to navigate academia to make your best impact. If you're new here, welcome. This is the place to be. We're going over tips, advice, answering your questions so that you can navigate academia to have the career that you want. So today we're talking about job talks, and we're going to look at some really fine-grained questions here about format, structure, who your audience is, those sorts of things. And the first thing we're going to look at is what is a time frame of a typical job talk. Now these can vary, keep that in mind, all right? They can be more or less than what I'm getting ready to tell you, but the average is 60 minutes. Out of that 60 minutes, I usually tell people 40 to 50 minutes is where you should keep your actual talk. So that gives you about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 10 minutes at the least, for questions. All right, you do want to leave time for questions. Who are you speaking to when you give this talk, right? Literally, potentially anyone. Now, that is a really good question that you can ask the search committee, the chair of the search committee, but these are advertised within your college that you're going to be a part of, or the department. So anybody can show up, including graduate students, and actually including undergraduates, if I'm being honest, because depending on how widely this is publicized, right, anybody can see it, which means anybody can come. Your talk is essentially a public talk. Know that if food is being served, because I used to work somewhere where we started having job talks over lunch, so then everybody came. If food is being served, people will show up, all right? That will be a packed job talk. But literally anybody, the dean could be there. Associate deans could be there. Anybody, right, that you can think of, the answer is probably yes. And you might be videoed as well, because a lot of times we'll ask permission to video candidates because somebody like the dean wants to see the talk but can't be there, or the department chair but can't be there, and they will watch it later. So those are usually, the videos are kept private. They're not publicly shared. You can definitely ask the search committee chair questions if you're uncomfortable with being videoed or you want to know how it's stored. But because anybody can be there, make it accessible to as wide a range of audience as possible. Know that you are absolutely speaking to people who are outside of your niche area. What is the typical format of a job talk? So very quickly, it basically mirrors a research paper, right? You set up your problem, you give us your questions, talk about your data collection, your analysis, your findings, why it all matters, and where you're going, what your next steps are. You are showing us that you are a high quality researcher, okay? Now, does the format vary across institutions? So if you're going to if you're interviewing for a job that's research focused, is that job talk somehow different from a job talk that you might give at a teaching institution? So probably not, all right? You still, if you think about the talk mirroring a research paper, having those components, you're going to want to present those components wherever you are. That said, no matter where you interview, you always want to ask the search committee chair, what they expect in a job talk. And if you're going to a teaching institution and they want you to give a research talk, ask them, what kinds of things do faculty like to see? What kinds of things are important to the committee to see? They'll answer that question. They'll talk to you about it. But in general, there won't be any special or significant changes across institutions. The only thing that might happen is you might get more or less time depending on the position that you've applied for and the type of institution that it's at. All right, so thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can catch all my videos. And by the way, do you want to stand out in your job talks? Because if so, I have a course for you to prepare you to get your dream job. And part of what we do in there is talk about how to make an impactful job talk. So check out the link to the course in the show notes, or you can go to my website, teachingacademia.com. You'll find a link to the course there. Also, in the show notes, subscribe to my email list. The email list is where you get early announcements and discounts on courses like this that I develop so that you can navigate higher ed and have the career that you want.